Hello, before I start this video, I just like to say that today was the first day of school for me as I'm starting high school. Yeah, I'm a sophomore now. And yeah, along with me having been busy currently, I will be even more busy unfortunately due to the added schoolwork. I am in a lot of honors classes and a few AP classes. So yeah, I'll be a lot more busy. There'll be a lot more paperwork and schoolwork in general that I'll need to do, but I will still be here posting videos just less frequently. Now, today's video, spoken language and writing systems, also simply language versus script. Now, people often use these interchangeably, but there is actually a pretty big difference. Okay, for example, the histories of both. Now, a spoken language is way older than any writing system currently alive, at least what we can see. We've been speaking for as long as around 10 to 20,000 years. And I'd like to note that this is a common misconception, but writing systems are not like spoken languages. I will get to more on that. For example, English has existed, as I've showed you in the last video, as a writing system before the no, English has existed as a language before the Latin alphabet came. So I'd just like to point that out. Okay, typically languages come first. Okay, and then the writing systems are made or bent to suit the language's needs. It's never the other way around where a writing system creates a language. So yeah, as for writing system, as I was saying, okay, it's a much more newer thing. It's actually a technology. And yeah, way more newer. We've been having it for the last around, I guess you could say, like 7,000 years or so, with the first being cuneiform, as we can tell so far. And yeah, it's writing is a technology where now you can put spoken language into visual communication so that you can interpret language with your eyes instead of your ears. And this also helps with record keeping and being able to, document things instead of needing to pass information and history orally. So, of course, writing has been useful for the invention of much more complex civilizations as much more advanced record keeping will be needed. So, yeah, both are different. Now, as I said in the beginning, both are often interchangeable, but technically this is not the case because, like many languages, can use the same writing system. For example, almost all European languages use the Latin alphabet or a modified version of the Latin alphabet. Okay, and singular languages can have more than one writing system. For example, Japanese uses three writing systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Korean uses two, however, one of them is starting to become more obsolete in favor for the other. For example, there's Hangul, and then there's the, I guess you could say, Korean version of Hanzi based on the Chinese logographs. And then the Egyptians had their own form of system, like writing system, where there was the consonants, the determiners, and the logographs themselves. So yeah, from personal experience, I constantly need to tell people like, oh, like there's a difference between like a writing system and like a spoken language. Okay, for example, I know like Japanese hiragana and katakana pretty well. I'd say if you gave me like a piece of text in only hiragana and katakana, I would be able to read it. And of course, that has actually been pretty helpful, I'd say, in the reading of anime, especially ones that like show text on screen. You know, like the anime that you see on like TV and stuff, not like the manga anime. Although I have read that. As I was saying, yeah, I explicitly mentioned that I know hiragana and katakana. Okay, however, people often think that I know Japanese when I actually try and write their name. For example, I can offer them like, and I have done this before. I have offered like writing like people's names in like other scripts that I know, and they mistake it for me actually knowing the language. But I don't. Okay, nowhere did I ever claim I was a fluent Japanese speaker. Okay, just because I know how to read it doesn't mean I actually know what it means. Like I can flash a piece of like hiragana or katakana only Japanese text. I would be able to read it to you, but I would have absolutely no idea what it means. And this goes for other writing systems too. Like I know pretty well how to read Cyrillic, although the stress, yeah, Cyrillic doesn't usually mark stress. They're only for learning materials. But yeah, I can sight read the Cyrillic script, but I explicitly say I know Cyrillic, not Russian or any other Slavic languages. I also know Hangul, but I say Hangul. I don't say I know Korean and other things. And yeah, there are some scripts, in fact, where they share the same name as the language. So I'll need to, of course, say the script itself. For example, Kannada is a language that I'm not technically fluent in as an active speaker. I'm more of a passive bilingual. I can understand it almost perfectly because I've lived in a Kannada household. And I can read the Kannada script fluently. Okay, but like if you gave me like for example a Kannada newspaper, I wouldn't be able to understand yeah, most of it. Okay. And of course I say that like I know like the Kannada script, or I can also, or I've also said that like I'm like a passive bilingual, or like I understand Kannada well but like I can't, you know, speak it. And of course this goes for all sorts of other scripts. Like I've said, like in my last video, actually in one of my other videos, I have showed you my handwriting on the Greek script. So I typically tell people that I know the Greek script, I don't know the Greek language. Okay? And I need to, yeah, but hopefully if you're having the same issues trying to explain it to someone, you can share this video with them. And hopefully when people ask, I will be able to share this video with them. So yeah, to summarize, the difference between spoken language and the writing system is that a spoken language is a human necessity that has existed for a very long time, and a writing system is a type of newer technology used to encode a spoken language in a visual format for our eyes to read. Okay, just because yeah, you can know, like for example, a spoken language without knowing how to read the script, and you can know how to read the script without knowing the language itself. Okay, I could say like for example, an illiterate English speaker knows fluent English, as in they know fluently the spoken language, but they don't know the writing system. And a person like me, okay, for example, Japanese, I know the writing system, Japanese hiragana and katakana, but I don't know the Japanese spoken language, which is, you know, Japanese itself. So I hope you find this video helpful. Goodbye.